Hello and welcome to the World Center of Racing for round 2 of Special Stage Pro Trucks Season 2. This is Parody Paul's Filter Feeder 500 live from the Daytona Rallycross course. I do not know what to expect from this one. This is the first time I think I've ever broadcast a Rallycross race, and so there's going to be lots to keep track of which drivers advance when you take that crucial Joker lap down at the final corner. But someone alongside me who has a lot of experience watching these sort of races is James Watson.
Yep, I have competed and won in many a race here at Daytona Long, specifically in these trucks. Well, the light, not the Pro 2, but you get what I'm saying. What we're going to be in for is probably last week's race on steroids. You know how there was always some sort of wild incident or mass chaos that we were screaming over? Yeah, it's probably going to be more so tonight, because at times it's a lot narrower than what Wild West was, which is saying a lot. And you're not going to have a whole lot of time in the races. These races are going to be comparatively short. So it's just, you're going to have to make a lot more crazy moves a lot quicker, because you just don't have the time to really sit around and idle.
Yeah, the one thing we do have on our side here is that this track, I don't know whether it's a restriction put in by the series or whether it's that it physically cannot fit that many trucks in the starting blocks, but we are going to be running a heat system. We are, I think, going to have about 11 or 12 trucks on track for the initial 2 heats. I believe the plan is to work towards a 16-car feature race, which will be 20 laps around here for the finale in this one. That is going to be something to behold. We are going to get into qualifying in just a moment. That will decide our running order, and then I believe it will be odd numbers into heat number 1 and even numbers into heat number 2.
You would be correct, and the designation for needing heats, it's a little bit of column A, a little bit of option 2. Your base, there isn't a whole lot of room to store all of the trucks. You know, the starting gate only goes back so far. Plus, you know, the actual aspects of heat racing and making sure you're in a transfer spot is so ingrained in rallycross racing. So that becomes a huge part of the show in and of itself, not just out of necessity, but it's fun to watch, and it promotes a whole lot of excitement and talking points.
Yeah, it is going to be very exciting. It's a very cutthroat heat system. Only 4 drivers from each of the 2 initial heats will advance. The rest will get shuffled into the LCQs, we think. We'll have to confirm exactly how those will look as we go on. But we are now into our qualifying session. We are following on board right now with Cody Meadows, who is on lap number 1, looking to set the best possible time here. I believe it's a 2-lap qualifying for this, but I could be wrong. And a lot of times under a minute, and so this will be done pretty quickly.
Yeah, that's what helps the actual official series just kind of go through races so quickly, is you don't really need a whole lot of time to get your laps in and get your laps done.
That is a 48.
Oh no, this is yeah, you could tell the body language of that truck that it wasn't going to be the prettiest landing.
Yeah, I think he's going to be done here. It is tricky to get over that jump in a rallycross car as well, but I guess these trucks can take the curbs a little bit better to straight line the entry, but you've got to be so precise, as Edmondson shows exactly how it's done. Goes to the top of the board. That curb nearly flipped some trucks a few times in practice, but I think Josh calls that a bit more rotation, and he's going to fly through onto this asphalt section. back onto the dirt here, and then back onto the asphalt. They can't make their mind up in this section, can they?
Yeah, the curbs aren't. It's like you can hit the curbs harder, not just because you're in a truck with much more robust suspension systems. You need to hit the curbs. That's actually the key to speed on these rallycross tracks in the Pro 2 trucks, the 2 and the Light. You know, how I made my success is being able to figure out how to hit the curbs just right. Like these first 2 curbs here going into the jump, you have to be so careful because it's so much easier to trigger that slowdown. That's your biggest worry with hitting these curbs, is that if you touch it with your rear tires, it triggers your slowdown. And as you know, when you get the slowdown, your lap doesn't count, which is a nightmare in qualifying, to say the least. So what sets apart the guys at the top end of the field to those towards the bottom is being able to hit those curves in the exact way you need to without triggering the slowdown, to hook the truck around the corner and do it on command. That's worth seconds, because these trucks do not go through the dirt corners well. You see, he missed that first curb, and you see the truck just slide out, and that costs so much time. And then he missed it on the final one, which also costs him a lot of time. But if you hit it, you hook the rear of the truck around, and it actually kind of keeps you more to the inside of the corner. So you're able to get through it faster and take significantly less time to do so. But obviously you run the risk of getting the slowdown if you take too much curb. But it's that risk versus reward system that rewards you with wins and championships.
Yeah, of course. And as you were saying about the truck not really wanting to turn on the dirt, it might sound a bit insane considering we just came from a dirt track and there you were fighting for momentum all the time there. The difference, I think, is that it's a slightly different complex dirt, and it's slightly shallower dirt that's been laid onto the asphalt surfaces of Daytona here. iRacing does model the depth of that dirt pack a little bit, and I think that's the difference, which is the trucks can't really dig in the same way. They sort of skate along the top of it instead, and that's why they can't quite get the same performance here. You're fighting it a lot more, but it looks like it's Matthew Linder in the 333 at the end of qualifying who is going to lead the way. Josh Edmondson will start from second in that first heat. Jack Amsbacher will be on pole for that second heat race that is coming up in just a moment. We are already gridding. Do we have time to go through the grid? I'm going to try. It's Matthew Lind and Zach Amsbacher 1 and 2. Edmondson and Herbie 3 and 4. Hang on, this isn't the right order either. This is everyone. No, we can't get through the grid. Never mind. There is the grid.
We tried.
On the left-hand side. There is the field. We're about to get going. Quick note about the race. 4 drivers will advance from this one. 8 laps, and you need 2 times through the Joker. Crucially, cannot take it on lap 0. You've got to get through on the outside into turn number 1 to start off the race. After that, anything goes. 2 times, and you are done. And we are underway, and it is a great launch from Sean Winkler, in fact, who gets into the lead, but still has Linda to the inside. The ship's wide.
Here comes Edmondson.
And I mean, that's what you can't let happen. You can't let him get to the front on that standing start. He's through into turn number 1.
Oh no, this is a bad jump for lead. Oh, he's able to save it. Ooh. Man, I saw that truck get sideways. I was scared. Oh, look at this chaos. This is incredible. You can't see anything with all that dirt.
No, absolutely not. Here they come through turn 2. Winkler and Linda still fighting side by side. Still maybe with a little bit of bad blood after that incident through the final corner. They are both in transfer spots right now. That's what you have to keep in mind in a race like this. You can't throw it all away. As there you go,
Oh,
Lind,
Lind.
going to be the first taker of that Joker lap, will take that race lead, but has used that one shortcut. And it's an interesting thing. It's a difference in culture in Rallycross. In North America, Joker laps are often a shortcut that jump you ahead of the field. Over in Europe, it's often a longer route that you have to take one lap that drops you back into the pack.
Yeah, and it completely changes your philosophy and your thought process. Like with this Joker being a shortcut, I've always used it as my kind of get out of jail free card. Like I always try to take it as late as I can compared to the drivers that I'm battling. And so if I'm up front controlling, I try to make sure to wait to take it until the very last lap, as we see Edmondson taking his first Joker. If you're trailing like Lind, you're having to take it and then hope to heck that you can go and absolutely outrun them. And so far, that's not the case for Lind.
Oh,
and
a lot of trips struggling behind. That was Heedy all the way off to the side of the jump. It's so good.
Yeah, you're seeing a whole lot of like terrible body language from the trucks going, ooh, oh no, this isn't gonna be good. Ooh, Watkins sliding into Schlosser. It's so easy to do that because you're kind of having to full send it into the corner if you're trying to pass someone. But because it's such a pinch point turning into the corner, that you're always going to make some sort of significant contact when you're trying to stick your nose in. And oftentimes you'll see that inside truck get turned around. And I've seen it cause basically a track blocker many times.
Yeah, this is actually a crucial spot here. The top three have all taken one of their two Jokers. This is the battle for fourth place. And what you can't see on the tower, Motorchet still has both Jokers in hand. It's maybe clipping the tires there. It's another shot from Watkins on Schlosser. But Schlosser's taken both Jokers and so doesn't have that shortcut available. And the top three all took one to shuffle themselves through. They're going to be more patient with it for now. But here goes Motorchet. Will finally take the first one. Nearly clips that barrier on the inside. This is not the safest course with all of the concrete blocks to the side. And there's a couple of drivers who have picked up black flags for what I assume is an invalid Joker lap. They cross the line either on entry or exit, and that is a post-race time penalty that you'll pick up for doing that. So that's Barnett and Heil who are going to be out of the running here. Again, it's all about that transfer spot right now, but Motorchet with only one Joker still left to play, I think he's in a pretty good spot to come home in fourth position and take home that fourth and final transfer.
Yeah, the Joker Delta is right around like a second and a half for the most part here, give or take. So if he can kind of extend that and be ahead of Watkins and Schlosser when Schlosser completes both of his Jokers, Watkins does his second Joker as we see him use his first, then he'll be good to go. But that's the most important thing is watching your relative and making sure you have that delta back to the trucks that you're running against.
Yeah, this is everyone except for the top four and Ant Meeperson have used up their Jokers now. Those five mentioned have one left. I'm keeping an eye on this battle between Watkins and Schlosser because these two have come to blows a couple of times in that long hairpin. That asphalt section down to the oval wall is the difference between the long and the short course here at Daytona. And these two have been really close all race long. There's a bit of a battle brewing at the front, though, as Winkler is closing in a little bit on Edmondson, trying to put that pressure on. 2 laps to go. Does he take the Joker this time by or next time by? I'd bet in this situation, he's going to do whatever Edmondson doesn't do and try and spring an advantage that way.
Absolutely. That's your only recourse at this point. And neither of them do it, so they're both just going to wait. All three of them are going to wait till the final lap.
Hang on. I know the strategy here. Because you are so much slower coming through on the exit of that Joker. Taking it on the final lap is going to be a quicker run to the line, and you don't hurt as much on the exit, so you actually bank more time gain taking it on that final lap. Now, if everyone does that, then there's no strategy advantage to be gained. But I think that's what we're about to see from the top 4 as we come through for the final time. There's a little bit of smoke up against that wall. But let's make sure that Josh Edmondson hits his marks. Again, it's so tricky to get that Joker right. We've seen people get penalized for it. Coming through that final sequence. And it's going to be nice and simple. Josh Edmondson, despite a poor qualifying, takes the lead and does not look back. Winkler, Linda, and Joshua Motorchek will be your 4 transfers in this one. And a battle here for 7th place. Meeperson defending from Joshua Heedy all the way to the line. And honestly, the field did a pretty good job in that one.
Yeah, you definitely got a good look of how hard it is for us to call these races, because you try to talk about something and you try to break something down, and by the time you finish, 5 laps have passed and 2 trucks are upside down, another one's on fire, and you're like, I don't even know what happened.
Well, you ready to do it again?
Yep. Absolutely.
It's a good job, because we are about to go once again. It's Amsbacher, Herbie, and Mikolajczyk on the front row here. I believe it's a 3-2-3-2 formation. So Meadows and Lakovic flanking behind. We'll see who gets the jump here. Oh, this is a nice high shot that we'll see as soon as they emerge from under that gantry. We'll see which of the 3 has the drag race. Amsbacher, of course, has the inside line for turn number 1. But I think Mikolajczyk has a bit more room to work with to try and shoot the outside. They're about to go. Here we are. And Herbie maybe a little bit behind. Amsbacher with a good launch here. He's going to have that inside run. Herbie goes way wide out into the grass. He's going to fall all the way.
And look at Greg Johnson.
Down the order.
Greg coming out of nowhere to take the lead. He started on the 2nd row.
And there's trouble behind.
We got trucks crashing. Oh my goodness. Big light check upside down. We have another truck upside down. He's barrel rolling. What is happening, Olivia?
I have no idea. Mikolajczyk is...
man.
That's an engine god for Mikolajczyk. Watkins had to flip it back over. Greg Johnson somehow makes it through.
Wow, Craig slipped by on the inside at perfect timing as everything happened behind him. Mother of mercy.
And
wow.
I don't know what to say. We get to see everyone try and reshuffle position now. Johnson up 5, Stowell now up 5 with that Joker being taken. Aldrich up 2. Mikolajczyk in a big loser there, unfortunately, from 3rd on the grid from that front row. Is down on pit lane. We'll have to fight through the LCQs from the back of the field. And one driver who really got given a lifeline here is Joey Herbie. He's still down in 7th, still 3 spots away as Matt Williamson also back to pit lane. I think that means that Herbie's actually in 6th place right now. So just has to clear these 2 ahead to get back up into the transfer spots after a disastrous turn 0. And this is how he's going to try and do it, straight into the Joker for the first of 2 here on lap number 2. It's enough to clear both trucks right now. So now it's time for Herbie to put the power down, show that he can match that qualifying effort lap after lap. But Victor Aldrich's here to put the pressure on and put a bumper to the rear end of that truck. He's going to actually shuffle all the way back through. Is that maybe a slowdown? Caught up Joey Herbie there.
Yeah, it's wild looking at the differences between Herbie and Aldrich. Victor is absolutely in control of that truck. Like, it just looks so much smoother through the corners than Herbie, who was going all over, just absolutely wheeling sideways, flinging as we see a battle for the lead. Or a battle for P2, my apologies.
Yeah, Johnson's
and
left.
Here comes Aldridge taking his Joker. Oh.
Oh, and that's not gone well for Aldrich.
Oh.
Coming out of the Joker 3 wide, he just got caught up in the wrong place at the wrong time. That's all the time gain from that Joker basically wasted. Luckily, the trucks behind have also used one of their 2 Jokers, and so he can fight this back, but Herbie now smells blood in the water. Can he get the move done here? No. He's going to have to follow for a little bit longer, and Sibron Stoll is going to challenge them as well. They're going to be side by side through this section. You can barely go 2 wide in a rallycross car here, let alone in the Pro Trucks, but Stoll thinks better of it, backs out of it, and hopefully as Cody Meadows gets overtaken by Amspacker taking, I think, the first Joker there, we're going to try and look back at that replay really quick. This down to turn 1, Herbie flies off the course. You see the side-by-side, Johnson fires it in with Mikolajczyk. And then further back...
Yeah, Paul gets hit, turned around, and then flips over.
Is that contact with the 22 that forces that spin, or is that just a little bit of... It's the curb. Bounces the truck wrong.
Wait, what?
It just caught the curb wrong. And there's Watkins with a, I think maybe a 1080. Let's look back on board the gyro cam here.
Something happened because what happened to Mikolajczyk's truck, that's not normal. That's not how the truck is supposed to behave when you hit that curb. It looked like he hit a landmine or something and just kind of launched the truck up and stopped it in place. That's not supposed to happen. That is weird.
Yeah, that might be 2008 iRacing at its best. This is a very old scan that was sort of retrofitted with the dirt course. It's definitely not the most up to date. And if you look closely when you're driving around here, you can see a lot of seams into the void just in the grass off the course. I'm worried that might be what's caught out Paul here. And we know he's fast, but he's got to just try and cut through in what is a very short LCQ to get to one of those transfer spots. We might have a couple of LCQs, but here's about second place. And Zach gives room. Cody wasn't expecting to be given room, puts himself in the wall there. But actually, Zach was nice and polite with that one and worked his way back up into second place. Both of these drivers have one more Joker to take. Cody's going to take it here. Zach almost fakes the Joker, cuts through the line, but then leaves. Greg Johnson's taken both. He's on the white flag. He's checked out of this one. But the question now is, can Cody build enough of a gap to Zach to try and make sure that Joker doesn't work out? I mean, it's a sweet life for both of them. They have the transfer spots. The question's now just what order they are going to come through in. And I think Zach might have second place as he's within 0.8 of a second here. Can now go to that Joker for the final time. You see Cody on the outside, Zach on the far inside. He's got to pinch it narrow, but it's going to be enough. He'll come home second. But of course, Greg Johnson with a big move down at turn number 1 takes the race lead and never looks back from it. Victor Aldrich, your final transfer spot. Herbie, Lakovic, Stoll, Thompson and Watkins bring it home, but we'll have to fight through, as will Williamson and Mikolajczyk. There's the screenshot. Those are the 4 trucks that we know are going to be going through into the second race here.
So Paul has actually posted a video of his view of what happened going up the jump, and there was some sort of like netcode glitch behind Greg Johnson, which like shot the rear of Greg's truck back into Paul's truck, like a reverse hyperdrive. It's one of the weirdest things you'll ever see, and Paul just, I don't know if it's netcode, a glitch, or what, but poor Paul got absolutely hosed.
So Joey Herbie a second chance at this. Starting from second place, we've got Watkins and Schlosser alongside on the front row. 15 trucks. How many are advancing here, James?
It is going to be, looks like 8 advancing to the feature from this.
So we have 4 laps. Great start from Joey here. Can he hold it together in turn number 1?
Watkins.
There's going to be contact already.
There's already been turned.
These trucks are great at keeping in a straight line, though. We get through for now. Oh,
Schlosser knocked off.
Post.
Oh, no.
He goes all the way back. Remember, 8 advance here, but it's just 4 laps to get 2 in the
we
Joker.
got a truck turnaround. PG, and he's flipping. And he's barrel rolling. How are you barrel rolling from that, from almost being like stopped and not moving, but it happened somehow. I don't even know what's happening anymore. Oh, Watkins almost put to the wall.
Oh, and there's truck stuck there. No. That's Barnett and that's Cameron. That is awful for them two. You see Heedy in the background trying to recover. They're side by side for 4th place here. It's Meeperson and Stoll. You see a driver take the... That's Mikolajczyk takes the Joker. It's up 10 positions right now. Gotta be careful not to get caught up in the chaos. This is the battle for the transfer once again. 8 drivers advance, 2 Jokers in the 4 laps that we have here. Top of the curb. I don't know where to look right now.
Yeah, I don't even know what's going on. It's just there's parts flying, dirt flying, trucks flying. It's just abject insanity.
Only
we're going to be side by side.
Paul and Thompson at the front of the field took the Joker lap 1. You're seeing Watkins go for it in the background now. Not the best run through, actually, but isn't a clear Mikolajczyk and Stoll here. Holdren currently the final transfer in the 524, but has Matt Schlosser, who started on that front row, breathing down the neck. Unfortunately, Schlosser again has taken those Jokers early, doesn't have them to fight with here at the end of the race, so could fall down the order. Thompson also with both Jokers is only in 7th right now, so could be trouble for the number 24 in what looks a bit of a mystery machine livery there. He's getting pressed all the way right now by David Holdren, who still has 1 Joker left to take here.
Yeah, that's always Steven's, his personal color scheme. He's always had that livery kind of set up in anything I've driven with Steven, raced with him a lot of times, not just here in Special Stage, but Tuesday Night Thunder, the Daredevil series. So, and I've always seen Steven run some sort of combination of these colors. As we see a major scrap here with Holdren and Stoll. Oof.
Ooh.
Oof.
We've lost our tower right now. It's top responded on the final lap of the LCQ. I don't know
even
who's
the
racing for these
tower's
positions.
given up.
I mean,
the tower knows just as much as we do.
We think Herbie, Matwich, and Meeperson have made it through. Here is a cut for the Joker. Not quite sure who is going to make it through. We're going to need you to tell us the final results here, James.
It is, let's see. It appears the finishing order is Herbie, Lakovich, Meeperson, Watkins, Mikolajczyk, the top 5. Or nope, it just reset. Okay, the top 5 is the same, and then Watkins in 6th, 7th, Stephen Thompson, and David Holdren bringing home the last transfer spot into tonight's feature, with Peterson being the one just barely missing out. Heiji with a good recovery back to 10th after barrel rolling on lap 1, and then Barnett, Stoll, Heel, Schlosser, and Williamson. Stoll must have got some sort of penalty, I think, in the race, because I thought 68 was a lot higher up the order, and I did see a major jump with the final finishing order as I was reading it, like a penalty had been assessed. So I'm not sure how much information we're going to get on that before we go off air, but yeah, that's what I think happened at any rate.
Yeah, if I had to bet, it'd be that Joker line. It can sometimes trip you up. I think we actually get a little bit of information here as we go. We said Mikolajczyk, of course, checking in after that heat race incident, and he did make it through to the feature session. And Stoll just forgot there were 2 Jokers. Only took one of them.
Oh no!
And of course, despite it being a shortcut in this course, the rules say you have to take the set number, no more, no less. And if you don't, then it'll be a standard penalty applied for however many have been in the wrong direction. So Stoll in an awkward spot there. And I mean, it's so tough to just remember everything like that in such a frantic race. You could easily get to the end of lap 3 and then go, wait, hang on. This is the final lap. Where did the time go?
Yeah, and it's heartbreaking when that happens. Like, you're absolutely kicking yourself to, like, that could have been like a really high finishing position for a Stoll, and instead gets kicked out as we see Meadows clipping the wall. Yeah, that is just absolutely heartbreaking for the 68.
And I think the other thing to talk about is just the fact that in a field where, like, it's never nice to be one of the drivers on the outside when it's more than half that come through. I've seen some dirt races on iRacing where there's one driver who ends up on the sideline for the feature race, and that just feels mean-spirited for iRacing. But we just can't fit all 23 into that starting block to finish out the race. So we are gonna have the top 16, 4 from each of the 2 heats. Those guys got to watch the fun in the LCQ, and then the top 8 from that last race will come through for a 20-lap final race. Again, 2 Jokers available and necessary for the drivers here, but they'd have to be a lot more careful about when they take them, because the ratio is completely different to what it's been in the previous races for these drivers.
And to bring up one thing, to give the folks at home an idea on what's happening, I think how the series does it for the rallycross track events is that the heat races actually count as like individual races.
Yeah, the heats award points. So
yes, so both Edmondson and Johnson are race winners on the season thanks to those heats. Obviously, Edmondson already having 2 prior to
he
go
really
with
needed that one.
Yeah, absolutely. It had been a whole 7 days since Edmondson had won a race.
But I mean, this is the other thing about the feature race. It's a full invert. So Edmondson and Johnson, their reward for taking home those 250 points is that if they want any more, they've got to do it the long way from the very tail end.
And David Holdren gets to be the pole sitter after just barely making it in. And here we go. Oh my goodness. Lord. We're almost 5 wide. We're 4 wide. We're 4 wide. We're 4 wide.
We're 5 wide.
I don't know who's where, what's going on. It's just a mass of humanity. Oh, and there's all kinds
We're still 4 wide.
Yeah, no one's flipped yet.
Oh, one's trying.
Oh, we got a couple off on the jump. We got one slow, I think, turned around. Yep, Watkins and someone slower towards the back. Mikolajczyk into the lead of the race.
That's some good recovery there. That's a big instant. There's
Oh, no,
the flip.
that's the flip!
Not quite. Gets it back on the wheels. Gets going with 4 wide on the exit again.
Oh, man.
One thing to mention, both Stoll and Holdren were our 2 drivers still running that Pro 2 Light machine. Holdren started from the pole in a Pro 2 Light, is still running in the 4th position right now. Although, of course, now some jokers come through. Stephen Thompson taking the first no performance Lajcic and Bladen Lakovic, actually, taking those 2 jokers to try and give themselves some buffer. And Paul's just going to try and run away, build the gap while he has it, as nearly another flip in the background. I believe that was from Ant Meeperson. But of course, Andrew Watkins, who's been upside down already in this race, now doesn't get to drive off the corner. And that was Victor Aldrich, who gets a face full of Pro 2.
And good move from Aldridge, trying to stick to the inside of Watkins. Oh, feeds him a little hip check. Gave him a little bit of left rear there.
Oh no!
Oh.
Gets pushed through. Holdren was moving to the inside to take the Joker. And I'm not sure who that was behind. I think it was actually Sean Winkler, who is side by side with again, who just doesn't see it coming. It's I mean, I'm going to be honest, I saw a very similar thing at Montreal in the IndyCars today. My teammate got taken out by someone doing a very similar thing to them, as they tried to continue on for another lap. Another driver went to go to the pit lane, and obviously just fired through the final chicane in a straight line. So, similar issues in Rallycross with where that Joker is. I tried to hand as left as possible to signal it, but because with how this feeds you out from the previous chicane, sometimes just not seeing it coming is Joshua Motorcheck. I don't think that sideways is a good thing in a truck like this, and in fact, it's going to get shuffled down by Zach Amsbacher in the number 22.
Yeah, Amsbacher just absolutely took that position from him. Took his lunch money on that one. As we see Johnson trying to fight with Edmondson. He's side by side with Winkler now. Yeah, it's so hard to be side by side through this section. Because, like, exiting the... Oh, what a set by Edmondson. It's a good move from Edmondson. Timely move. Absolutely need to be done.
And one interesting strategy here between those 2 heat race winners. Johnson's taken 1 Joker at this point. Edmondson's keeping it in the back pocket, doesn't want to waste them too early, thinking that these early moves should be the easier ones. And it's going to be when you get to a driver further up the field, how do you pick your way around them? Try to not have to, and keep that extra Joker in the pocket until you get to the very front. I like the strategy call. He's currently 7 seconds off Paul, who has just taken 1 of them. So I think the 57 has taken the advantage. Johnson taken 1 Joker, does it the hard way. That's Motorcheck down into the hairpin. But now the question becomes, what does Motorcheck have in response? We get down to the International Horseshoe. Of course, one of the most famous corners on the road course, and matched in our Rallycross layout. We don't find out. Johnson goes to the Joker lap once again. That's his 2nd and final Joker on lap number 5. So he's got to do the rest of these with the race car there. And we know he's already able to do that, but Edmondson ahead has both of them in the pocket, and he's right in front of Johnson right now. Never mind, Thompson's gotten shuffled behind here. So now Edmondson up 10 positions into 6th place. And Johnson's going to try and follow through, but a great job from Thompson to keep that door closed. And an instant for Watkins, and almost a flip, but just parks it, fortunately.
Yeah, you've been seeing that a lot tonight. You know, just not going up the jump in the fashion that you need. You know, you actually have a lot more control of how the truck goes over the jump than you might initially think. You know, the body language of how it goes through the air and how it lands is dependent on what you're doing with the truck. My lord.
Edmondson just sat behind, hoping they'd get out of the way, I think. You've got two in the pocket, Josh. I think if now's time to take a Joker, if any, these two ahead are getting feisty. We'll see what the 58 does here. I know he's going to try and save it even longer.
Ooh!
And actually, Lakovic does the work for
we're
him. Now
gonna be
three
wide going in. Oh no! Oh, and there goes Amspracher.
And they're not done wrecking because Lakovic is torn up. Johnson's getting pushed through. Thompson is getting shuffled. I think may have taken some damage in that as well.
Oh
my. And they're still going to be side by side down into the horseshoe. And Johnson, I think, finally gets one done, but opens the door for Motorcheck.
Through. Oh! Ooh! Aldrich tried to follow him through, and Lakovic was trying to shut the door, trying to slip to the inside of Johnson, who was getting passed by Motorcheck, and just everyone met in the middle, and that results in Lakovic getting turned around. This is wild. There's elbows out, and then this is just has given an uppercut to every person you walk by.
Yeah, there's definitely two styles that we're seeing on show here. Of course, Rallycross is a sort of a contact sport, but maybe not this much contact.
Yeah, Rallycross cars are significantly more fragile, so you cannot get away with with pretty much anything we're seeing here, but the trucks, they can absolutely handle it, and it's showing. And you know, that's originally why the Jokers were such a godsend, because it's hard to pass without making contact. So if you're trying to get by without making contact, the Joker is your lifeline, because you can make that pass easily and then hope that you can pull away after.
Yeah, it's a pit strategy in 2 seconds. It's also what I love, and this to be controversial as Amspacher comes out of nowhere, and I think must have a slowdown. It's what I love about Formula E's attack mode. If you thought we were going to talk about that today.
Yeah, but the bit of that necessity of the Joker, it kind of goes out the window a little bit when you've seen some of the passes being made tonight, where everyone is just basically drop kicking each other to Orlando.
Yeah. Speaking of Edmondson, who hasn't used a Joker yet, need to remind him they're still available in this one. Those two trucks ahead have both used both of their Jokers. Mikolajczyk has had an incident, in fact. He had a 6-second lead. He's now right on top of the field. He's used one of them. But now Edmondson, who's side by side with Herbie and actually going to clear Herbie, is only 3 seconds back, and he has one extra Joker to use on the rest of the field. What on earth happened to Paul?
I don't know.
Here we go.
Oh, does he hit the wall? He hits it. Oh, no. That is so easy to do. If you don't hook that final berm that helps keep you kind of have a lower exit, the truck, as we've talked about, as we've seen, it just slides out, and the rear just continues to slide, and you get close to that wall. That wall kind of juts out, like it goes in. You see the runoff area, and it kind of curves, and then it curves out. So you really need to consciously get the truck back into that line, because if you still have the rear end kicked out, you're gonna hit it, and it's gonna spin you out like we saw with Mikolajczyk. And also, every time I've hit it, it also damages the engine. So not only do you spin, you also have to deal with engine damage. Now, it's hard for us to tell and see if Paul has that engine damage. I don't know for sure if he does, but it's prior experience of my own that it usually gives you that bit of damage. So we don't see any smoke coming from the race leader, so that's a good sign so far, but he still might be hurt. We don't know. It's just speculation at this point.
Maybe a second Pro 2 light in this feature race, and it could be the race leader, who, I mean, that is does show how well he's run the race until that point, how well he used that first Joker. After he got in,
Oh no! Oh!
he held the lead until now, but Matthew Linder slides through. Edmondson looks to make it too. Drives into the tail end of Mikolajczyk, and now it's going to be elbows out. Edmondson, remember, still has both of those Jokers. He can get this one done the easy way if he wants to and set sail. But another mistake from Paul as we were watching, and now Matthew Linder from 12th on the grid leads the way. And now the first Joker comes in from Josh Edmondson. Is it going to be enough to clear for the lead? Yes, it is.
It is. Wow.
Linder's got the momentum, though, coming through the International Horseshoe. He's going to keep the pressure on side by side. Going to use the door if he can get there. Going to try and cut as much as possible, but slides out wide as Linder. Linder's going to touch the wall.
Oh no, he did the same thing. Oh, and Mikolajczyk he's wheeling all over the place. Oh. Yep. That wall claims another one. Blam. And Mikolajczyk. It's been one of them days for old Paul, hasn't it?
I mean, it has, but he's still in third place. Like,
and he's still plugging along like nothing has happened.
And he's
like,
got a Joker in hand.
He hit Lind at a pretty high rate of speed. I have no idea how that truck is still running after all that.
There's everything but the stat bar here. Edmondson leads as we come to 4 laps to go from the very tail end. Sean Winkler from 14th on the grid currently runs in 2nd place, and Paul Mikolajczyk, who started in 4th, led for a big chunk of this race but has been swallowed back up by the field. Currently runs 3rd ahead of Matthew Linder. Those top 3 still have one Joker in hand. Linder and Herbie have used both of theirs, and then Motorcheck, Meeperson, Amspacher and Meadows still have Jokers available. We've got a car stopped. Layden Lakovic is going to be stopped, and it could be ahead of the leaders. We don't have lap traffic in a second. Lakovic just ahead here of Holdren and Watkins. But there's Josh Edmondson at back of shot.
Leader right there, yeah. Yeah, if I'm Edmondson, I'm using that final Joker just to get out of this.
Because this is a pack of a couple of lappers, and then there's a bit of daylight. The first 2 have been nice and kind. Edmondson going to hope for the 3rd to be the same. Doesn't want to burn that final strategy option. Not kind to each other. They might be back here with a little bit of beef. Sean Winkler uses a Joker, takes the lead from 14th on the grid. But that's his final bullet in the chamber.
Oh no, there's a major incident at the starting line. Someone got turned around. Yeah, and someone plowed into the turn. Oh, it gets loose in front of Holdren, gets turned around, and then who is it that? Oh no, it's Matthew Linder.
And it's not the post. Watkins rolls back towards Linder, who is also back in pit lane at this point. Had more issues after the jump, and I think the engine, the wheel's given up there as well.
Yeah, that right front is not touching the track anymore, and I think Linda's gonna take the toe. Oh, that is heartbreaking. Matthew Linder had the lead of this race like 3 laps ago.
I mean, Mikolajczyk had the lead of the race. Linder's had the lead. Winkler has the lead. But Edmondson, with 2 laps to go, has 1 Joker available to use. Does he use it this time by? Or does he use it on the final lap? It should be the faster play in theory. But if he gets caught up in an instant with Winkler here on the final lap, it won't mean anything. Mikolajczyk is 6 seconds back, but should have the defense here for the podium. It's all eyes on Winkler. All eyes on Edmondson on the final lap. Winkler has to go the long way around as we come through the final corner. Edmondson has to take the shortcut. But he is going to be loving that opportunity as we have a lapped truck, Richard Watkins, wounded from that incident ahead. Is the number 343 going to get involved here? No, gets well out of the way, goes a lap down. will take the checkered flag behind these two. Edmondson is 0.6 of a second back, 0.7, but he's got the shortcut here. Dives to the inside, takes it nice and neat, right up against that curb. Is it going to be enough once again for Edmondson? Yes, it is. It is going to take the win by just over a second, and there's the celebrations.
Man, just when you think it can't be done, Edmondson goes out and does it. And that's how a Pro 2 Light is made.
Yeah, and we're still racing a little bit further back. We've had, I think Greg Johnson might have a post-race penalty maybe. Has been demoted a couple of positions down to 8th place. Still just finishing up that final order.
No black flag for the 150 from what I'm seeing.
Okay. May have just been maybe an instant actually. Let's have a quick look back here.
Oh, wow.
Just gets dumped on the final lap, it looks like. Let's roll it back a little bit further, see if anything led up to this. Oh, no, that's the wrong one. Oh, and it's a bounce back off the wall.
With a terrible rejoin, and then just 13 coming out of nowhere. That.
I mean, I don't think he had a choice in the matter here. Oh no, he's facing forward, but it's a bounce back. He tries to use the bank shot off the wall to get going again. Meeperson goes, I want these positions. A Christmas present for the number 13, it looks like, to get up into 4th place. And then Motorcheck and Amspacher fighting all the way down to the line as well. And Johnson, the big loser out of that, unfortunately. We'll just watch this one all the way through. I mean, all the way down to the end of the race. Carnage. You see some trucks taking the Joker. That's like Meeperson actually had it saved as well to jump into 4th. Motorcheck goes for the 6th place behind Amspacher. But what a run from Josh Edmondson. And you see the celebrations here.
I thought for sure, I'm like, surely with this track, the only 20 laps to do it, which, you know, same amount of laps as last week, but a much smaller track. I'm like, surely he can't do it. He did.
Of course he did. And let's have a look now at the rest of those results for Parodi Paul's Filter Feeder 500. It is a 4th race win on the season for the 58 of Josh Edmondson, taking it at the final corner, saving the Joker, and beating Sean Winkler to the line by just 1.1 seconds. Both drivers coming from the very tail end of the grid. Paul Mikolajczyk had a great lead early on, but an incident down through this narrowing bottleneck section knocks him into the fray. He finishes in 3rd place, ahead of Ant Meeperson with big moves on the final lap, ahead of Joey Herbie, Zach Amspacher, Joshua Motorcheck, Greg Johnson, Cody Meadows, and Stephen Thompson, rounding out the top 10. And then Victor Aldrich, Richard Watkins, Layden Lakovic, David Holdren, Andrew Watkins, and Matthew Linder, your final trucks from the feature race tonight here at Daytona.
Well, this is our first opportunity we have to breathe after everything that was that.
We do, but it's a busy waiting room here. We'd give it 30 seconds, catch our breaths, and then I mean, we've got to start with the man of the hour, the man of seemingly every hour here in the Special Stage Pro Trucks. Josh, the final corner in the end to get it done, but the strategy really playing its part there all the way through from the start of the feature race. Did you know you were going to save those all the way to the end?
Yeah, I'd kind of planned to do it. Just try and get as far ahead as I could, and use them when I needed to. There was one time where there was a couple fast guys right in front of me battling. I think I took it the first one. But yeah, I was definitely trying to save them towards the end and just try and make up as much ground as I could before I used them.
It was, I mean, a lot of carnage to work through all the way through that one, both in the early laps and once Paul got sort of brought back into the picture there.
Yeah.
How much damage did you feel on the truck getting to the end? Because there was definitely a few scrapes. I mean, maybe not as much as we're seeing on the screen right now, but
I mean, my spotter called wheel damage, front end and back end damage after the first lap.
The first lap.
I mean, yeah. So there was some, but it wasn't too bad. Thankfully, there's not a lot of high speed here, so the aero doesn't get too messed up, or everybody else's truck was messed up. It didn't feel like the truck was real slow or anything, and it handled okay. It's just really tough to turn this dirt, and these trucks are really tricky. And you can overcorrect or get tight and push. It's really tricky. And then with the curbs too, once the dirt wears in and gets grippy, then it almost wants to bike the truck. So it's constantly changing.
Yeah, of course, an expert on the dirt tracks, but maybe not so used to running on sort of the shallower dirt that these rallycross tracks provide. Talk us through just how the truck feels comparing the two and how much different it is coming to a venue like this.
Oh yeah, it's extremely different. It's actually a completely different dirt model. So it's nothing like when you drive these trucks on, the actual off-road or even the dirt oval. So there's a lot less grip. So you have to be mindful of that. And yeah, and being on the throttle, like out of the corners, I mean, you just get wheel spins so easy. So it's crazy. You're literally babying it around the dirt corners.
Well, I mean, batting 1,000 right now, perfect season through 2 rounds. Next week, over to something different again. What I did see in the format channel is a no track limits race at Navarra. How are you feeling for that one, and how do you feel about running this truck fully on the asphalt next time? Well, except for the grass.
I love this truck on the asphalt. I've done a couple races with these things, and they're a blast on the road courses. Without track limits, I haven't done much. I've done it at Nürburgring in the Pro 4. It's actually one of the most fun things. You do the tourist layout in the Pro 4 and no track limits. It's so fun. So I can imagine this will be a lot of fun too. Actually, I didn't know that. I'm looking forward to it.
I only found out at the start of the broadcast, and I can't wait for next week already. Of course, we'll see you there. Awesome. We'll probably talk to you again. But if there's anything you want to say for today to the fans at home and everyone at the side of the track, now is the time. Congratulations on continuing the streak.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. And yeah, shout out you guys for doing the broadcast. These are awesome to go watch. Last week was hilarious, and it was some good racing too. So definitely going to watch this one back. And Matt for putting on the league. Everybody on the team, Channel 199, Sim Racing, Track Racer, Pimax VR, and Racecraft.
Sounds good. Enjoy, and we'll talk to you next time.
Thanks. Cheers.
I am going to say next up for our friend James here, we're going to pull in second place in this one, Sean Winkler.
All right, Sean, James up in the booth. You got a copy?
I got a copy. Hello, James.
Well, I don't even know where to start on this one. This was definitely one of the races of all time. Just first of all, just take us through the start of race 2 and your strategy, if you could even put together one, of get through the mass of humanity that was trucks.
Oh, you got jokes, James. It was Truck-mageddon out there. I didn't. My strategy was just let everything happen in front of me and try to just drive through it. Right, like don't full send it and wreck somebody or wreck yourself. Try to keep the truck as clean as possible, and then see how everything filters out and go from there. You just got to filter through the pack as the race progresses.
Yeah, you did a fantastic job of that, making it through all the calamity and keeping the truck pretty clean. You got to the up to battling for the lead about halfway through. Were you surprised that you were that high that quickly, or were you expecting to get there like maybe with only a few laps to go left in the race?
I really had no expectations of how I was going to get my way to the front. I just know that, if I just keep hitting my marks and driving quick, I can get there. And I didn't have a lot of practice on this track, so it was pretty rough. And we just kind of made it work. And it was good to kind of just stick behind Josh and drive through the field a little bit. Used a joker to get around some traffic that I didn't want to be stuck behind, and then just send it towards the end, see how we could do. Yeah, what a race.
Yeah, and you had the lead there in the closing laps, but uh, what's it like leading one of these races knowing the truck behind still has a joker to use, and you kind of using all of your bullets in the chamber, so to speak, on that?
Oh yeah, I knew it was just the lead on paper, and it wasn't the overall. I knew he was close enough to take advantage of the joker at the very end for the pass for the win. So, I'm just trying to not make any mistakes there on the final lap. Don't do anything too stupid. Don't throw it away off a jump or anything, and just try to keep a gap as much as possible to stay as close as I can at the finish, so no one else can sneak up by me at the end there. So it was nice to lead a couple laps. It's always fun to lead out here. This is a great event. I love coming out and racing this series. It's super fun. So this was quite the combination of trucks, but like I said, starting from the back and filtering the way to the front was pretty fun tonight.
Yeah, you did a fantastic job of that. Any sponsors, plugs, and shout outs you like to give?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Racecraft Academy for letting me drive with them and drive this awesome truck, and Next Level Racing and Real Broker and all the fans in the stands out there watching. Appreciate everybody tuning in, and you guys for putting on an awesome broadcast. This will be fun to watch back, and I really enjoyed racing Pierogi Paul's Filter Feeder 500 tonight.
All right, well, we appreciate you, Sean, and hopefully we're talking to you again next week.
I hope to see you next week. Thanks a lot, James. Thanks, guys. Catch you next time.
And let's work down the final spot on the podium before we go back to those heat races. So for our third place finisher here tonight, we've got Paul. And just what happened in that race?
Oh, I suck. I'm terrible. I'm the worst. You see, there's that guy named Josh, right? Who you know is really fast. And I'm focused on, I have to put down heaters while I have no one in front of me. And I just heated a little too hard, and then I seared myself. I wrecked. And it was big sad.
Yeah, I mean that moment definitely put you into the washing machine almost. You fighting with basically everyone else in the top 5 from that point on. Great job surviving the rest of the race to get onto the podium. But of course, even going back to the heat race, I mean, I think of all the drivers, you probably had the most happen to you over the course of the event here today.
I'm used to that. That happens a lot. You can ask James over here. He sees me a lot. Things just happen to me. Unexplainable things. But that heat race wreck, crazy. I've never eaten a car that wasn't actually there that hard in my life.
Hey, I mean, I've not had a chance to look back at it, so I've not want to messed up the audio on the stream, but
well, to interject real quick, like, it was wild watching it from our point of view, because Greg's truck doesn't do that from what we're viewing. So it just looks like you slam into an invisible wall at Mock Jesus and the truck ramps up.
Yeah. What really happened is I'm gonna blame, not gonna blame Greg. I'm gonna blame Canada's internet service providers,
which is fair,
for shaking his car about 10 feet backwards when he hit that curb and just blowing up my front end in my car.
We're blaming all of them, because from what I've heard, all of them do have their own problems. It doesn't matter which one he's on. You're on notice here.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's still a podium finish. Great recovery to the night. If there's anything you want to say to the fans at home after that one, let's hear it.
I'm just gonna call myself the what's it called? The Whole Shot King, because I'm pretty sure I was a ripping on every start until I eventually died. But shout out to Next Level Racing, Racecraft Academy, Apex Custom Gaming PCs. Yeah. And shout out to Josh for winning. He's cool. And Sean finished second. He's okay. Yeah.
All right, sounds good. We will see you over next week in Spain for Navarra.
Hell yeah.
That was your third place finisher, the Whole Shot King, Paul Michalajczyk. I think that might be close. It's close enough. And James, I think one more person to talk to here, going all the way back to that second heat race. Maybe not the feature he was hoping for, but Greg Johnson taking home a race victory. The only driver not named Edmondson to take home a race win. Greg Johnson's here with James.
Hey, Greg, James in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you. Does my mic sound okay?
Sounds perfect, buddy. First of all, I gotta talk about that start you had in the heat race. I have no idea where you came from. You played that start to perfection.
Thanks, James. I just went down at the bottom there, and there was plenty of room.
Yeah, and you took that room and just absolutely just drove by everyone, and so the internet, though, right behind you did kind of put Paul in a bad way. Do you have any idea what happened behind you in that heat race?
Not really. I haven't looked at the replay yet, and I haven't watched the broadcast, but I think he was stuck out on the left there.
Yeah, you're gonna get a real big kick out of it when you see it, because that's one of the wildest things I've ever seen in all of my time on the sim. But yeah, you drove a fantastic race in the heat, getting the win, being the only person not named Josh Edmondson to win a race, and you sure had a time in the feature. Take us through your point of view of the start and trying to get through all that.
The start was actually not really that bad for me. Just a little bit of bumping, and it was constantly 3 wide for a couple of laps there. So I just kind of got held up a bit, and a couple of times I caught up to the front runners there, but I just took my jokers at the wrong time, and I can't really make up too much excuses. It was definitely just poorly played on my part.
Yeah, that's always how she goes. Sometimes you play the cards to perfection and you win out. Sometimes you don't. But still, it was a fantastic job for you tonight. Any sponsors, plugs, and shout outs you like to give?
Sure, absolutely. Definitely give a shout out to my brothers. They helped me get set up here so I can get racing again. And obviously TWR, everybody there. And definitely Matt Schlosser for putting on these leagues and for the broadcast as well. Thanks, Olivia. And you too, James, buddy.
You can't shout out James twice. That's cheating. Thank you so much for joining us. We will see you next time.
Yeah.
Great, guys. Thanks a lot, man. I'll definitely see you next week.
All right. And with that, James, the second round of the Special Stage Pro Trucks comes to a close. And the standings have been updated. Edmondson has a 540-point lead after 2 rounds.
Yeah, last season of the trucks, Josh had skipped the dirt oval round and still won the championship fairly handily. So at this point, it's not too surprising the points lead that he has, especially with how much winning a race gives you over finishing second. So as long as Edmondson continues to do Edmondson things, yeah, he's gonna be in a good position.
when are we just throwing him in a Pro 2 light and locking the door?
I advocated it. I thought it'd be much more interesting for everyone to watch. Is that this time he'd only win by a couple seconds instead of 5 or 6. So, but yeah, he's still continuing to put together the crazy results. Yeah, look at all that green.
Yeah, it is plain sailing for Edmondson so far. Of course, actually quite a tight finish in that feature race, of course, with Winkler, who I think is probably his best shot at some good competition throughout the rest of the campaign. But next week is going to be something completely different. Again, we mentioned it during the interviews. We're over at Navarra, which is a road course in Spain owned by Motorsport Vision, who own most of the UK club tracks. They decided to fly over and pick that one up as well. And we're racing it without any track limits. So the way that's going to work is that it is going to be 2 15-lap races with I think a full invert between the two of them. And so long as you bleed the slowdowns that iRacing gives you, which I'm pretty sure for something like the Pro 2, those bleed pretty quickly, even if you keep the throttle down. As long as you don't get a black flag from iRacing for those slowdowns, then Special Stage will not be punishing you for it. And it is, in fact, encouraged for you to find whatever shortcuts you can to get you the upper hand.
Yeah, which means we're going to see trucks all over the place, more than what we've already seen them in the first few races.
I might have to go into the cameras and zoom them out a little bit, because I can imagine we're going to see some trucks in places that camera operators weren't expecting.
Yep, and cannot wait to see it.
Yeah, it's going to be an absolute blast. I mean, we've seen already the first 2 rounds of the season. 2 very different tracks, but giving us non-stop action throughout. It's a fantastic series to watch and to bring you. And we thank you so much for joining us for Special Stage Pro Trucks. Of course, we will be back live on JCTV tomorrow. I believe with a couple of things, but the highlight, of course, being the BSR Grid Network Truck Series from Nashville. That is going to be a very fun one, as Michael Kruder tries to go for the three-peat in that series. But here from Special Stage Pro Trucks, from James Watson alongside me, I have been Olivia Hayward, bringing you all the action, and we say thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next week.